how good of a grasp do you think you have on the Marvel Rivals roster as of Season 7? Do you think you have a good idea of what characters are good for one trick so you can really develop an expert level understanding of the character? What characters are just a little bit on the easier side so it's a good thing you can switch into to suit the needs of your team? Let's find out today, you and I. So, this tier list is going to be focused on primarily how good a hero is for beginners, right? So if you're starting out, if you're kind of wanting to get into Marvel Rivals, this is a list of characters. S being good for beginners, right? I can kind of recommend you sliding to that role early, seeing if you can get this going on. And then D is for, you probably shouldn't even touch this character until you've had, I don't know, minimum 70 hours in the game. Whatever, just hypothetical number we're throwing out there. I am gonna spend just a little bit of time talking about how good a character could be for one trick, sort of if there's any kind of hyperbolic relationship between how you can play a character now, how will you look when you play the character for 50, 100 hours, 200 hours, etc. Up first today on our list, you and I are talking about Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock was my first Lord. So yes, I'll have an experienced and biased take here. In terms of Adam Warlock being good for beginners, to be honest with you guys, I am going to put him high B. For Adam Warlock, there are some things that make him great for beginners and some things that make him horrible for beginners. First and foremost, his healing is simple, right? Like you can kind of miss his healing, but it's very difficult to miss his healing. And really refining how to get that chain is not necessary for operating the character. And the whole engine of making this character work is just hitting like really nice hit scan shots, right? Like he has a really good fire rate. He has a variety of damage he can deal from his primary fire and his secondary fire. Though he's kind of fundamental in how you have to have your mechanics for the character, he's simple. Now, the only reason I don't have him up in A, I wanted to put him in A, but the only reason I don't have Adam Warlock in A is because his res. All of you have probably been res by an Adam Warlock in some horrible position, like on the card in the middle of the front line, and just been totally wiped by the enemy team. Of course, his buff that granted revived teammates a little bit of like overhealth upon coming back up helps, but res, that'll take some time. That's the only reason he's not A tier. In terms of Angela, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, D. I think Angela's one of the hardest tanks to make work in the game. She's sensitive to your team's composition. She's sensitive to the enemy team's composition. Her numbers are really quite low, right? Her shield is only 250 HP. She only has like 500 or 550, somewhere around there, health. I think Angela is one of the hardest tanks. And I think kind of a testament to that is TTK's success on Angela. TTK is extremely experienced and obviously enormously skilled. And he's the only person I've seen make Angela really work. So we're gonna leave the Angela for the people who have got lords on all the other characters in the roster. Black Panther. Hot take, I'm putting Black Panther in C. Black Panther is the opposite of Adam Warlock. Yes, I understand that the character has some hard stuff going on. He has a number of miserable matchups going on. He's not oftentimes a part of like a really sweet, nice team up. And ultimately, people are going to be ready for you because you are probably like everyone's least favorite enemy to play against. So people will be thinking about you. But I think Black Panther players are just up their own asses a little bit too much. The spear is an enormous AoE. He's now getting sustained kind of like over health to increase his survivability to kind of keep up with the rest of the roster. His ult is not as bad as everybody says. Okay, it's not great. I'm not saying Black Panther's ult is great, but it's not useless. There are definitely worse ults in the game, and actually we'll cover that here in a second. Black Panther in C. Pick him up. This is kind of that hyperbolic trait that we're talking about earlier. Pick up Black Panther, and the reason he's not in D is because I think it would be ultimately a good idea for you to one-trick this character. I think it's a character that for the first 15 hours of playing him is probably not rewarding at all, right? I mean, it probably just sucks. You have low damage. You are a melee character, so you're constantly at threat of dying. But as you gain knowledge with this character, you start learning a variety of things that will make him more effective because you don't have to go through the slog of aiming that everybody else does. Black Panther doesn't have to aim, not really. So nice C tier. Black Widow, I mean, everybody can see this coming, low D tier. Should we put Black Widow in C tier? How basic of a skill do we consider aiming to be? Because I'm gonna leave her in D because of her power level, but The thing about Black Widow is that there's kind of two sides to considering how difficult of a character she is. There's the obvious side of she's the sniper character, right? This is if we look down here, mobility ability, mobility ability, mobility ability, mobility, 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 has a double jump, has a tech. Let's see, I think every person on the roster, on this top level at least, excluding Groot, has some form of mobility ability. Playing sniper in a hero shooter is not like playing sniper in just like a normal FPS. But regardless of how hard that might be, that's her main way of interacting with the game. Her kit is not too difficult outside of that. So like her ult is this huge blast that it's challenging to miss and it is rewarding to hit because the slow is akin to a stun, right? It's not far from a stun. Her kick is this wide sweeping melee move, and if you do hit someone with this melee move, people will be coming into your melee range because you're a sniper, you get a free follow-up. So that's why I would consider putting her in C, but ultimately, because I think the character is extremely weak, right, I would not recommend her to beginners. Don't even worry about it. For Blade, how good is Blade for beginners? I'm gonna put him in A. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, there's two things to consider with Blade. Kind of two arguments here that we have to think about for what tier we might want to put him in for new players. Up first, he really enjoys being a melee character. Getting that life steal and ultimately having quite a lot of survivability makes him good for brawling. Sometimes he reminds me of Wolverine in the sense that there's just so many little benefits to Blade being in melee range against you that he's deceptively difficult to beat. I do think the character's weak, but that's a topic for another video. The only reason I don't put him in S, the only reason I don't think he's a great character for beginner players is because he has a mechanic that anti-heals himself in exchange for getting lifesteal. And if you're a new player, I think it'll take you a long time to pick up on that. You'll be, dying over and over again. Why am I dying? I don't know. That's a very small, thin line of text that very seriously impacts his character. And so for that reason, I think you would have to do your research just a little bit before starting the character. And if you have to do your research, he's not a good character for beginners. Moving on to Captain America. What are we putting Cap in? This is hard. So this is as of season 7. As you guys can see down at the bottom, we have White Fox and Black Cat. And he just received a sizable nerf. I'm gonna go B tier below Adam. Ultimately, Cap is this weird character of operating him successfully is not that difficult. He has a great number of tools for survival. He's mobile. He has a pretty good health pool. His ult is close to kind of like a second health bar like Winston or Hulk. And that's what the character's MO is. Like, you're meant to just survive on Cap. Like, you're not there to like kill people and assassinate people, not especially now that he doesn't have his animation cancel anymore. And so because of this, your job is just to live, and he has all the tools to live that you need. Plus, he's a melee character, so you don't have to learn aiming all that well. I know about his passive, but that's deeper analysis that we don't quite have time to cover today. And his projectile, his left bumper for me, I don't know about you guys, homes in on people just like Daredevil. So there's this weird mix of he has an easy MO and he has all the tools to do it, but I think doing all of that together successfully is the hard part. I think it's easy to survive on Cap, but it's not so easy to make your survival meaningful on Cap. And so I don't think you'll win a lot. And so if new players don't know how to win on a character, regardless of how easy they are to operate, then it's not a good character to pick up. Up next we have Cloak and Dagger. We have to go to S. Cloak and Dagger has some of the most powerful tools in the game, and like her fundamental bottom level of skill floor is on the floor. Both forms, whether it be Cloak or Dagger, have some generous auto aim to help you out. What is that thing called? The Fade for Cloak is a tool that is useful in almost every situation, and there are a great many situations wherein it can be really quite seriously helpful. Honestly, her ult has this big AoE that is easy to catch on to. It's not very difficult to understand. I want my teammates in this dash. It's a form of mobility in itself, so you can both at the same time position correctly for the ability and use the ability at the same time. I mean, we don't really have to talk about this for a long time. I think everybody can tell that. Elsa Bloodstone. How hard do we think Elsa Bloodstone is? I'm gonna put her in B. Honestly, I think worse than these two. She's not great for beginner players. Elsa has a lot of little things that a player can do to improve her gameplay, and to be honest, I think that what her character really does, what you want to be doing on Elsa, the average gameplay loop for Elsa is not all that easy anyway. So because of all of this, I don't think it would be wise to put her any higher than B tier. However, at the end of the day, I think mobility is fundamentally forgiving. I think this is why Genji is easier than everybody says he is, because you have to spend less time thinking about your positioning if your character has ways to get out of bad positions, and she does. So this is, she's close to Black Panther. Maybe she'll be low on B tier, maybe he'll be high on C tier, because as you learn to play this character, she's going to be a rewarding process, I believe. And you'll pick up on the little things later. Little bit of research, not much, not the same degree as Blade, where you have to read about him, but Blade has less obstacles to being friendly to new players. Emma Frost, this is difficult. To be honest, top of C, bottom of B, I can't tell. I'm going to go top of C tier. Specifically for really two reasons. One, Emma Frost is a character who has to operate in close range. To be honest, Emma Frost's optimal game plan is a little bit restrictive. You can't really just be doing whatever you want to be doing on Emma Frost and contribute positively to win the game. She needs to be in a specific range for her laser to hit consistently enough for her passive to be meaningfully triggering and kind of increasing her damage dealt over time. Diamond form is obviously enormously powerful and useful in the majority of situations you'll find yourself in, but it has a long cooldown, and with no forms of mobility, you need to be in a specific place, doing a specific thing, and you don't have a lot of ways to get there or stay there. Her shield's a little bit on the smaller side too. 400's good, right? I have this habit of comparing all the shields to Doctor Strange, and his shield is enormous, but it's important to consider that she's meant to be flexible within a very specific avenue of the game, and I think new players would struggle to find that avenue and stay there. Finally, to kind of end the argument for C tier, tracking. I think flicking is a naturally easier method of aiming than tracking, and you want to have demon tracking skills if you want to really be a good Emma player. Daredevil up next. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, top of D tier. I have no respect for Daredevil players, sorry. I have a great many kill cams of Daredevil players diving me and killing me wherein they do not actually hit a single ability on me. There can be a Daredevil who completely fails the aiming aspect of their entire kit on me upon diving me, which, by the way, they just press left bumper twice and they're on top of you no matter what you do. And it's still enough to completely burst my character out and kill me. That on top of having 350 health, multiple forms of survivability, and an ultimate that's honestly really quite easy to use. Daredevil is the poor man's flanker. I think if you're looking to get started playing a flanking character in Marvel Rivals, Daredevil is a good place to start. Definitely better than Black Panther, for sure. Oh wait, that means he's gonna be on the opposite. Oops, my bad. I got it backwards. Up next, onto Deadpool. How good is Deadpool for beginner players? I think I'm gonna put Deadpool up here above Emma. He's gonna be high C tier, because Deadpool's mechanics, his buttons, are not difficult to make work. Right? His right bumper is an aura move, kind of like Lucio. So he even has the Lucio voice line for that, right? The healing beat. That is not a difficult move to use. His left trigger, whenever he has his katanas out, though it does different things, is just a dash. It's not hard to get a grasp on. His dual pistols are useful at a great number of ranges. Yes, there's a great many reasons why Deadpool could be generally an easier character. But I think that while a new player would benefit from that quite a lot, I always get these two names mixed up. Deadpool has a lot of little things that makes him kind of a nightmare to micromanage. So for example, he has the whole book mechanic, where he opens the comic book and improves himself as a character. Yes, it's not too difficult to get a grasp on that, but really understanding what's going on there and across his variety of roles, what order you might want to do them in, what time while you're in your life do you kind of channel those abilities, getting his ultimates to work. I don't think I've ever successfully triggered the Deadpool healing factor boost from his Katana's ultimate. There's just a lot that needs to be done correctly to play this character well. And we ultimately want to get into playing them well for this tier list. Not playing it perfect. We're not talking about playing it perfect. But well. How good is Doctor Strange for a new player? S tier, man. pick up Doctor Strange. If you are new to this game, play Doctor Strange. His aim is very forgiving. He has a mobility skill that's also very forgiving. He has a huge shield that just makes your life so much easier. His ultimate is finicky because there's going to be a lot of people who can really quite easily counter it, but it's powerful, it's simple, it's effective, you understand what it does. And to be honest, the whole kind of little fine print text on the end of Doctor Strange Ultimate being that damage is also dealt to the souls, right, as for the person. I don't even know if you have to know that for the character to work. Doctor Strange is one of the first characters that I played when I picked up this game, and I was just using Maelstrom of Madness on people that I hit with my ult regardless, right? So I don't even know if you need to know what's going on to play Doctor Strange well. S tier, one of the best tanks to pick up. You should play him. On to Gambit. Gambit, I'm gonna put Gambit in B tier. It's a hard one. Gambit kind of reminds me of Deadpool. I mean, he's in a close position to Deadpool because he is simple to just operate on a baseline level. Just like, so you have this great form of mobility. You have a way to heal yourself. Your way of healing your allies is a spread, and dealing damage to enemies is a spread. So he's forgiving in terms of those baseline mechanics, and I think that a lot of new players might be drawn to him for that reason. But managing resources on Gambit and understanding how to use those resources is trickier than people think, I believe. I had to do some reading on Gambit to really best understand when to use my abilities, how to use my abilities, etc. And I don't feel like I'm good at Gambit, even after reading at him. So yes, I don't believe he has a super high skill floor in terms of like basic operating him, but I think you need knowledge to play Gambit, and knowledge is not desirable for new players. Plus, he has things like cleansing and anti-healing. Those concepts don't mean shit to a new player. Like, who cares? They're just gonna do the cool explosion move every time. Playing Groot. How good is Groot for beginners? I'm gonna be honest, I'm going, This is hard. What do we do with Groot? Okay, Groot's projectiles are weird but forgiving. The hitbox for his primary fire is pretty big, but it has this weird delay shoulder swapping that it does. Placing walls is a little bit of a kind of strategic metaphorical strategy, but at the end of the day, all you gotta do is place the wall. I'm gonna put him in A. I'm confident that Groot is good for beginner players. There are small things you can do, like placing the walls around an ultimate to make it as effective as possible, breaking penny nests with your walls, blah, blah, whatever. But I don't think it's very hard for a player to get the idea that I put the walls between my good guys and the bad guys. You get damage blocked. That's what the tank is supposed to do. Ult is pretty easy. It's not all that bad. Secondary alternate fire, his grenade is really good. Melee combo is good for beginner players. I don't recommend Groot as a beginner tank for players as much as I do Strange, but I don't think you would regret picking up Groot. He's a good character to have in the roster. I don't feel like, excluding the Wolverine Reign of Terror, I don't feel like there's really been any big periods where Groot is just like an awful character. Hawkeye. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I have to put Hawkeye in D tier with Widow. Hello. I want to put him above Angela. There we go. Hawkeye, he can peel himself very easily. His ultimate makes the game play it for you. He has explosive arrows if you're really struggling to hit, but none of that matters. All of those are tools that you have to make your primary fire work. And especially given Hawkeye's passive, you kind of need to mesh two styles of aiming to get good stuff out of the character. And I think because his power budget is so heavily invested in his primary fire, there's no getting around the fact that you have to operate that fire well, right? I mean, if you want to play Hawkeye well, you got to be able to shoot the bow. That's just all. And so for that reason, I'm just gonna put him in D tier. I mean, you got to be able to shoot a projectile that's not really like a lot of other projectiles, and to operate that successfully, you really need to be able to have multiple forms of aiming. I just think he's the opposite of Cloak and Dagger, and that's why they're kind of on opposite levels of this tier list, because he has plenty of abilities that make him easy to play, plenty of abilities that make him easy to play, but for you, the floor for just barely bare bones operating this character is really high, as opposed to really low. On to Hela. Do I think Hela is good for beginners? No, not really. I would love to put her at the absolute bottom of B tier, and we'll see if we can manage that moving forward. The thing about Hela is that she has a really simple game plan. She has a primary fire that deals single target hit scan damage. She has a secondary fire that's going to deal kind of AoE explosion damage. She has a method of healing herself. She has a method of escaping. Her ult is another method of escaping. If you have played shooter games before and want to get into Marvel Rivals, if you can shoot, and shooting is the one thing that you've got, if that's your biggest advantage right now, play Hela. Because that character's kit is going to kind of easily, her stun's a little bit difficult to hit. It's not quite as easy as it looks. But if you can shoot and she doesn't have like a crazy primary fire to hit like Hawkeye or like Black Widow, pick her up. You won't regret her. She's a good DPS to have in your roster. I know quite a lot of players who can just swap into Hela because she has kind of a checkbox of can you shoot? Character works. Play the character. Moving on to Hulk. I'm going to put Hulk in C tier, specifically because I feel like Hulk is weak now, and Hulk has been weak for a while. Not the whole game. There was a time where Hulk was a good tank to pick in Marvel Rivals, especially with the Doctor Strange team-up ability that those two got and just like raised hell for months. But Hulk requires great mobility. You have to be hitting these skill shots really consistently to bring as much value to the team as another tank would. He's really easy to int on. The more mobility a character has, the more a new player can spend that mobility, jumping into the enemy backline and dying. His ult requires a shocking amount of knowledge to really make as effective as another character's ult. He's not good for beginner players, but I'm putting him in C because the punching is really easy. You don't have to practice to be able to punch people. His punch hitbox is really quite generous. And so for that reason, you could start playing as the hero and not be completely useless like Angela and Hawkeye and Black Widow, but it's not as good as the rest of the heroes. He's really quite low on the tier list. I do not suggest Hulk for beginner players. Human Torch. I'm going to put Human Torch at the top of C tier. Human Torch has some abilities that are unlike a lot of abilities that you can find in hero shooters. I mean, he has this thing where he can draw the boxes. He has basically two types of primary fire. He has this dive, like all his stuff is kind of weird. And he's strange, but because he's strange, I don't want to put him in D tier because I feel like similar to Elsa, this character is very rewarding to learn. This is knowledge that's going to come to you naturally as you play the character. On paper, I haven't played him, I have no idea. But I think that he's a character who, it won't take long for you to stop regretting learning the character. I have to plug my computer in.
God, bro.
Excuse me, chat.
No!
Somebody's got to play
Please! No!
So ultimately, Human Torch, I wouldn't recommend him, but I'm not gonna tell you no. I think he's better to start one-tricking than to just start playing like Hela. Invisible Woman for beginner players. Oof, this is hard. I'm thinking either bottom of C or top of B. We'll do B. I can't play Invisible Woman. There's something going on with me. I would love to play Invisible Woman. She's a support I would love to have in my roster, but I can't do it. There's just something about her. One too many buttons, or perhaps this kind of weird projectile that she's got for her main method of healing. I can't play her. So if any of you think she's S tier and great to kind of learn for new players, let me know. Fill me in on what you got going on because I can't do it and I would like to do it. She has a great number of abilities, but they're all kind of easy to use. She has a really important support ultimate, and so because of that, you carry some responsibility by locking in this character. But all of that comes from the ability being really strong and really good. And so because of that, like, you'll probably not regret picking the character. Her shield, yes, to really get good use out of the character, you need to be obsessing over that shield, but it has an AoE heal, so you can just kind of place it on as an AoE healer and crank up healing numbers that way. I am not good enough to play Invisible Woman, but I think you could be. I think you can do it. Moving on to Iron Fist. Where does Iron Fist sit for new players? I'm gonna put him below Human Torch, but above Deadpool. Iron Fist is this weird character where, to be honest, if you do just a little bit of research on the character, like not even reading about him, but just like pulling up the abilities that your hero has for Iron Fist, he makes sense. He is a melee character who wants to have extended melee fights. So because of this, he has mobility tools, he has survivability tools, he has sustain tools. He kind of brings all the weird stuff that you need to have to successfully operate the character. But he has low damage. Like when he's just punching you, he's not really doing a lot of damage. And he has this weird tank shredder stat. And so I think Iron Fist brings everything that you need, and none of them are excessively complicated. But what you need to gather all that knowledge together and do is a little bit weird. I don't play Iron Fist very well. He's my inting character. So I'm not too informed on this guy. But ultimately, I would not suggest him for beginners because he needs to have a specific MO, and the MO that Iron Fist needs to have to contribute a lot to a team might not be what you're expecting. So we'll check in on that. Iron Man. I'm putting Iron Man above Groot. Above Blade? Yes, I'm putting Iron Man above Blade. Play Iron Man. You should. Iron Man is a great hero to pick up for beginners because, so for one, elephant in the room, right? Obvious thing, enormous AoE primary fire, enormous AoE ult, missiles that you don't even have to aim. Like the only part of this character that requires really like any meaningful type of aim is his laser. And yes, that is important for like high level Iron Man play, yes. But the character just got a pretty meaningful buff. Most of his kit is really quite, do we put him in S tier? Do we put Iron Man in S tier for beginner players? I don't know. I'm not going to put him in S tier for one reason. And this is as much of a benefit for putting him in A as it is a detriment for putting him in S. Iron Man is team composition sensitive. There are certain characters like Invisible Woman, like Atom, and kind of to a certain degree like Iron Fist, where they can make flyers live a nightmare. And because of this, on kind of the other side of that spectrum, if the enemy team does not have any characters who are good at dealing against you, I mean, if the enemy team has a Magic, if the enemy team has a Squirrel Girl, if the enemy team has a Rogue, a Thor, whatever, they don't have the tools to deal with you. You will come into an unfair advantage in a number of matches that you find, but on the flip side, there will be some matches where you borderline can't play the character because of the matchup, which sucks, but that'll be another video we'll talk about. Play him. Good DPS. Better than Hela, I would say, for beginners. Up next, Jeff. This is hard. He's definitely an A or S. He has an accessible kit, that's for sure. I'm gonna put him... This is hard. I'm gonna put him in A tier. Jeff's primary fire is so forgiving. You can pick up this character now for your first round of Marvel Rivals, and you will not be the worst player on the team. He is accessible for getting the job done, and that's a big part of the definition that we're establishing here for what makes a good beginner character. But there's a few things going on. There's some important micromanaging that can be done with your bubbles that you can do. They serve a number of purposes, and to be honest, they're not as easy to aim as I thought they would be if you really want to hit them dead on from a distance. And his ult is a problem. The big thing about Jeff ult is that it's like not good. I like that they added the healing kind of tide pool that he leaves behind, but I mean, that's a secondary effect that a new player probably won't even realize is there the first few times they use Jeff ult, and the actual rest of the ult's effects are not very helpful, and honestly require map knowledge, which who wants to learn about the map, you know what I mean? Holy shit, like just play a character. Anyway, Jeff is not S, really because of his ult, but I'm gonna say Jeff is A. I'm disrespecting Blade too much, but Jeff above Blade. Loki up next. This might be a little bit of a hot take. I'm putting Loki high B. I know there's a great many players who think that because Loki can transform into other characters and because the timing for his healing lamp needs to be important, you need to get the snap switch down really quite well. Yes, there are reasons Loki is hard, but at the end of the day, there are two reasons that really, actually three reasons that I really think Loki is pretty good for beginner players. Number one, splash damage. His main method of healing, he's a main healer, he does a lot of healing. His main method of healing is not just one splash of healing, but multiple if you have your clones out. So you are exploding the battlefield in healing. You do not have to be precise on Loki. It's good if you are, but you don't have to be. And it does damaging and healing, so you don't have to swap up or anything. So that's reason one. Reason two, he has an I become invincible button. That's good for new players. New players are regularly going to find themselves in a position wherein it's like, I don't know what to do, but something bad is happening. Press the make myself invincible button, and then you'll be fine. Do it. It'll work for you. And finally, yes, the ult adds quite a lot of skill ceiling to the character, but in terms of skill floor, you can just ult your allied support every time. Like, that's an option. Okay, not every time. Like, if you have Jeff on your team, you really shouldn't be doing that. But you don't have to start really flexibly ulting the enemy tanks or your allied duelists for a long time. Like you can operate Loki successfully without doing that. Pick him up. I think you might be surprised. He's a pleasant character. He's kind of like Gambit. He's knowledge intensive, but even more so than Gambit, he's not fundamental skill intensive. Feel free, pick him up. Luna Snow, bottom of C tier. Really just two things for Luna. Number one, for her kind of argument for her being in C instead of D is she has ways of making the character easy. Her ult, you press ult, you'll be fine, right? So yeah, that's not having an ability you can totally choke and throw like the Bass ult, like Iron Fist ult, if he has his elbow block, so it's kind of intensive, whatever. Her ult is forgiving, and she has her clap move that makes the hitboxes of the allies really quite easy. Yes, okay, yeah, there's a number of reasons. But one thing remains the truth, kind of two things remain the truth for Luna Snow. Number one, your main form of healing is hit scan hitting people. And I don't know about you guys, I don't know how much support you guys play, but shooting your allies is a shockingly different skill set from shooting your enemies. You are conditioning your enemy by engaging with them. Your allies might not even know you're there. And so you don't have as much control over the tracking or flicking environment that you're in when you're playing Luna Snow instead of a duelist. So I think people will be surprised upon playing her at how difficult she is. Yes, there's a number of kind of cushy pillows that you fall into for playing the character, but at the end of the day, the thing you're going to have to be doing very regularly is hard. I don't recommend her for new players. Coming up, Magic. Magic's going right here. Magic is going in C tier. There we go. Magic shocked me. She was one of the first heroes I tried to pick up when Marvel Rivals first came out, that fateful November, December, whatever it was. Her and Venom were the characters, her and Loki were the characters I wanted to play. And now I know they just buffed the hitboxes for this season, so we'll have to do a little bit more research to figure that out. But what every bad Magic player does is just kind of jumping around and swinging, right? Just kind of primary fire, flailing around and getting shot and dying. What good Magic players do is save up all their cooldowns, come from a clever angle, hit everything. Don't miss a single skill shot. You one-shot somebody, and then you have the means to leave. Yes, you can press the buttons on Magic, and on paper, I feel like she should be easy to play, but she's not. That might be because of the environment of Marvel Rivals. It could be because we're in 6v6. I'm not sure. We're not going to spend too much time on it. Magneto. I'm going to put Magneto in the middle of B tier. Magneto, similar to Loki, right? He has an I shield myself button. Actually, he has two of those. He has a lot of ways to block damage. I feel like his kit is kind of easily digestible. Like Magneto obviously wants to stand in a certain range from people. He doesn't want to be up all that close. He wants to be amongst his team. He's good to solo tank, which that's a good point to have. He's not like Rogue, wherein solo tanking with that character is miserable. But I have to move that lower because Magneto's primary fire is difficult. You will know when you're playing up against a good, just like demon Magneto player, because they will hit you with every shot, and that shit is hard. It is hard to hit people with Magneto primary fire. Ultimately, Magneto's ult is another thing that kind of makes me move him down, because to really use his ult well, you gotta have knowledge and kind of some skill. There are a lot of ways you can miss Magneto ult. It's just, so you can notice he's kind of smack dead middle of the tier list here, because he's smack dead middle of the tier list of this whole argument we were having with Cloak and Dagger versus Hawkeye, in the sense of just baseline fundamental skill gotta be pretty high. Baseline knowledge also gotta be kind of middle of the road, a little bit higher. He takes a few things to play Magneto, and I don't think beginner players have a few things. Mantis. I'm gonna put Mantis at the tippy top of C tier. For you to just kind of look over here at the rest of the C tier and look at everybody, all of these characters, you have to kind of have a specific thing in mind to be operating well. Hulk, you need your mobility and your shielding to be on point. Luna Snow, you have to have good aim to make it work. Black Panther, you gotta know the map like the back of your hand. Emma Frost, you must cooperate with the team, blah, blah, blah. Mantis is a little bit further up, because if you just want to heal people, if you just want to smack healing over time on everybody, farm your ult, and then use your ult to save everybody, you'll contribute, kind of like in the same vein of Jeff, is that you'll not be dog water shitstorm useless. But the problem with Mantis is that her primary fire is a nightmare to hit, and the whole engine of playing that character correctly involves the primary fire. Honestly, you can kind of compare it to Magneto here. In terms of knowledge, you don't need a whole lot on Mantis. You heal people or you damage boost them, and you just have a sleep to protect yourself, but I just count that in self-heal, kind of like CC to keep yourself safe, whatever. But to make any of that work well enough to outperform your other teammates, you got to be hitting the hell out of some like really difficult to hit shots. So I don't put it. Mr. Fantastic. Welcome to B tier, big dog. I'm gonna put him right next to his wife. Mr. Fantastic is this weird mix of, he's just a little bit above Magneto. Sorry, Fun Battery. He's just a little bit up above Magneto because he requires a lot of knowledge to play. I feel like if you want to succeed, if you want to carry the lobby on Mr. Fantastic, you gotta know the rotation. You gotta know the proper settings for the abilities. You gotta kind of, yes, read the abilities, but understand how they work together. But that primary fire is not a problem. I see Mr. Fantastic players just flinging, like basically sweeping the floor with their crosshair, and it works. It works effectively. You don't need a whole lot of mechanical skill to make him work, but you do need knowledge. And I think knowledge is probably a little bit easier to acquire than mechanical skill because knowledge can be acquired just through effort and not time. I think mechanical skill requires effort and time. That's all. Moon Knight. I'll put him in S tier. I'll put Moon Knight in S tier. The one reason why you might not want to put Moon Knight in S tier is because he has a lot of abilities. There's a lot of buttons you can press on the hero, and yes, I totally get that that can be kind of intimidating for a new player. Honestly, that makes me want to put Jeff above him, but whatever. If Daredevil is the perfect DPS for players who are new to diving, Moon Knight is who you should play if you are new to backlining. The shots hit themselves. The ult deals so much damage that you can use it in almost every situation. Yeah, feel free. Namor. Top of A tier, tippy top of A tier. The thing about Namor, like, half of his kit is about aiming itself, right? Like, Namor is a nightmare for these kind of diver characters who want to use evasion and mobility as a tool of interacting with the game because he can't miss. You don't have to use your primary fire to contribute on Namor. And so I'm close to putting him in S tier, but two things to consider. Number one, his water bubble move that he does to protect himself has a long cooldown. So you kind of have to position smart on Namor because you don't have a lot of ways out. And two, his ult's kind of finicky to make work. It's really easy to follow up. Like Groot and Namor ult combo is really good. That works. But by itself, difficult. Yeah, character is the tippy top of A tier. Stuff aims for you. Pick this character. You will not regret it. Going on to Penny Parker. I have Lord Penny, so I'm definitely going to have a biased opinion here. I don't feel like she's as hard as people say she is, but I see people inting on Penny all the time. I'm going to put her in C. I don't think Penny's very complicated. Webs are favorable terrain, and you have useful utility that you can contribute from that favorable range. If there are webs on the ground, if you have your nest somewhere, flankers will die, your allies will get healed, you will get shielded. You just win if you're in the webs. And what you can do while you're safe and winning from the webs is you do her web to get serious CC, shoot mines out there to get a pick every now and again. And honestly, her primary fire is pretty forgiving. But I just think all of these concepts, even if they're not all that difficult, are so foreign to shooters that people just like don't get it at all. I almost never see a good Penny player, though I feel like I should. And her ult's like dog water. Like, don't even cast that shit. To be honest, as a Penny player, I only use my ult under two situations. One, if I desperately want to extend my nest's reach. So I kind of use those webs to expand my nest for just a little while. Or two, just for another health bar, just because it gives you a shield. Those are the only two reasons I use it. Moving on to Phoenix. Dude, I'm putting Phoenix in D tier. Phoenix is hard. Hela and Phoenix are meant to kind of be mirrored parallels of each other, but Phoenix is harder. With Phoenix's ult, you gotta understand the character's kit to make it work. It has a stacking system, and you have to have a pretty serious knowledge of the stacking system to make the ult work. Her mobility, the blink has a long cooldown, and the dash, and the flying thing, the stance change, doesn't help you escape as much as you think it might. I think this is a hard character that requires both skill and knowledge. Not to the same degree as Hawkeye, right? She's not quite up there, but I want to put her in the bottom of C tier, but I'm not going to. Psylocke. Psylocke's not good for beginners either. Psylocke is hard. I'm kind of have a Psylocke video in the works because I kind of want to talk about her, but for one, I feel like she's weak. I don't think she contributes a lot to the team, for one. For two, all of these abilities can be used incorrectly. You can dash the wrong way and get yourself killed. You can use invisibility or cancel invisibility the wrong way and get yourself killed. Her shots have a weird cadence to them, like bam, 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 and there's just kind of, she's not as easy as you might think she would be. The only reason I'm not putting her in D, actually, you know what? Let's do this right here. The ult, it does it for you, right? You don't have to aim Psylocke ult, and Psylocke is an ult merchant character, right? Getting the ult is the whole point of the character, so take that as you will. Moving on to the Punisher, I'm putting Punisher at the bottom of A tier. I want Punisher to be a great example of backline DPSs that you can start picking up, similar to Iron Man. I want him to be that because of his assault rifle. But the fact of the matter remains, he has this smoke bomb ability, which is kind of weird. He has a zipline ability, which has these weird little interactions you need to learn. He has his turret, which if used improperly can just kill you. And his ult makes everyone in the game want to shoot you. That's not a good spot to be in. But all that said, shotgun MO, assault rifle MO is pretty simple. Kind of reminds me of kind of mirroring Hawkeye here in the sense of you got to be able to do the thing, and his thing is shooting people, but all of your abilities are tools to assist you in doing that thing. I feel like hitting someone with a hit scan assault rifle is easier than tracking someone with a bow and arrow and then flicking at the proper time to hit max damage headshots. Rocket. Tippy top. Play Rocket. First time Rocket in your comp games. Do whatever you want to do on Rocket. The character, I love Rocket. Great character, reminds me of Reinhardt because this character, just like a lot of other important hero shooter characters, is designed to bring something the team desperately needs, a shit ton of healing, and it's not hard to do. Play Rocket. No other discussion required. Rogue. I'm putting Rogue at the top of D tier. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Rogue is deceptively difficult. She has a lot of little things that you can do on the character, a lot of changing the order of abilities, or perhaps having certain situations and circumstances that cause her abilities to operate at maximum effectiveness. Her range is really small. She doesn't have as much health as you would think. Lifesteal sometimes feels really strong, sometimes it doesn't. You steal different abilities from characters. Sometimes you steal no abilities from characters. You need knowledge. You need a different type of skill, mechanical skill, not aiming skill. I don't recommend Rogue to new players. She reminds you of Magic in the sense that you're a melee character who operates on the MO of you have to kind of hit everything if you want it to work. I think Rogue's hard, but good Rogue players run the lobby. So if you're feeling up to the task, don't shy away. Scarlet Witch, I'm putting her at the top of A tier. Auto tracking aim is great. Love it. Fantastic. Great help. She has a form of hard CC, which is pretty simple in its application, right? It's not hard to think of a situation where you might want hard CC. Great. Her fade, you have to kind of like contribute 0 brain cells to proper positioning. She does it for you. Great character. Only reason she's not in S tier is because her ultimate is, she has the worst ultimate in the game. I will say Scarlet Witch has the worst ult in the game. Every form of CC in the video game will stop the ultimate. She screams, she gets a marker between walls, her mobility is slowed, like she's moving around slowly. She doesn't gain access to the rest of her abilities, like she can't fade out of her ult. Ult's horrible, but the rest of the character is really quite good to work with. Up next, we have Spider-Man. I'm just gonna be honest. Spider-Man, don't play him. Spider-Man, I don't fully get Spider-Man. I play a lot of Spider-Man just because I like him, just because I have fun when I'm playing him. I don't give a shit about winning when I play Spider-Man. He's very fun. I mean, you might want to play him for that reason, but for winning, he requires just godly mechanics. You gotta play this game 10 hours a day if you want to really hit all your shots on Spider-Man. In terms of matchup knowledge and positioning, like he's different levels of good on different maps. He's different levels of good on different points of maps because you can pull people off the maps. There are team comps that you can't play him into. There are team comps where he's really easy to play into. But you require a lot of knowledge and you require a lot of mechanical skill as well to operate the character. Don't play him. If you want to have fun, go ahead and try him. But if you're trying to win your games, do not play Spider-Man. Check out my Spider-Man guide if you're interested in winning those games. Moving up next, Squirrel Girl. Is Squirrel Girl better for beginners than Scarlet Witch? No, she's not. Squirrel Girl, you have a wide clip that can be refreshed really quite easily. You have an ult that you just randomly fire off and get some kills just for some reason. She has mobility so she can position properly. She has a form of hard CC in the event that you're being chased.
she's good to pick up. Pick her up. I put her above Punisher in terms of how good she is to pick up. But if you ever played Junkrat, there's one irrefutable truth in the fact that there are a great many situations where if you want to live, you have to hit direct shots on people. And that's hard. That's a challenge to do on this character. But outside of that, that's what, like 20% of the time, maybe. The rest of the game, you can basically spam down choke, get ult charge, and kill people. Player, you won't regret it. Star-Lord, tippy top of B tier. Similar to Punisher, he has a pretty simple MO and he has tools to utilize it. You want to be a tracer style pest, flying around people and shooting them from angles they don't want to get shot at. We'll talk about the ult later. And he has the mobility tools necessary for that. But I put him lower than the Punisher because although I think Star-Lord's tools have less nuance than the Punisher's tools, they're a little bit harder to just operate. Shooting the smoke grenade is not as hard as, probably bunny hopping after you do his rocket dash, or understanding the invincibility window for his flip move. Plus, I think his tracking is just a little bit more difficult. Something feels weird about the way the Star-Lord shoots. But he does have an auto aim. He does have an ult that shoots for you. By the way, the more I talk about this, the more I want to move Star-Lord up with Punisher. What do we leave Star-Lord in B tier? I think, okay, we'll put Star-Lord right above Punisher because of his ult. It is a great ult. Star-Lord ult is good. It is oftentimes game defining and it does it for you. And unlike Scarlet Witch ult, Star-Lord's ult you can dash and move around throughout. It does not hard CC you. So small level gameplay, you have a lot of options and they're a little bit difficult to make operate, but not really. And large scale playing, the game practically works for you. I recommend picking up Star-Lord. I don't think you'll regret playing him. He's pretty good. Storm. Is she harder than Magneto? Probably. Is she harder than Mantis? No. Storm is this weird mix of she's split half and half. You have these difficult shots to hit. You have these sort of crazy angles of attack that you can take because of her ability to fly. And she has a surprising amount of difficulty in just operating yourself as a character. But the other half of the character is your aura boosting your teammates, and your ult just fucking kills people. You're just gonna kill somebody with Storm ult, like it doesn't matter. It takes a coordinated team to stuff a Storm ult. At the end of the day, if you just lock her, you're gonna get a little bit of value, but this actually makes me want to move her to C tier. She's hard to make work. Because her projectiles are kind of weird, her health and survivability are both low. It's just a little bit weird. Thing! Play Thing! I think you should play Thing. The specifics of how his abilities work are kind of weird. Like, I don't know if new players are gonna know what grounded means. I don't know if I tell you when he dashes to an ally, you both get a percentage reduction on damage. I don't know if they're gonna know what that means, right? So the nuances of this character don't quite put him above Moon Knight. But you are there to be the Thing and punch dudes. And it is hard to kill you while you do that. You cannot be moved while you do that. You are shielding yourself and your allies while you do that. Get in there and punch dudes. Play the Thing. You can learn about the nuance later. It's not a whole bunch of knowledge. He's good for beginners. Thor. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I think Thor is shockingly difficult. But you can spam him to a certain degree of success. You gotta use your abilities cycle correctly to get enough bonus health to stay on the front line, and even then sometimes it's not enough. He has this new mobility ability that gives him like almost an Angela style capture, kind of like you're insecting somebody, if you know what that means basically. And you're a melee character, so you don't have to, you're not tracking or anything like that. But it's just hard to make him work. I see a lot of Thor players do badly. I think the character's on the weaker side because he was one of the best tanks in the game for a little while upon release. So Thor is kind of a challenge, but I don't think rising up to that challenge is all that difficult of a journey. His Awakening Fire can be a little bit difficult to hit, but anyway, all that aside. Ultron. Where do we play? How good is Ultron for beginners? I don't feel like he's bad. Is he better than Adam? I think he is better than Adam. I like Ultron. If he didn't get all the clanker hate that he gets, I would probably pick him more often. Ultron's MO is like Zenyatta. It's pretty simple. You put the thing on your ally that heals them, and then you fuck off and do your own thing. I mean, yes, I know that you have to regularly reapply drones. There's shielding that no longer works for yourself. Yes, I understand that. But in terms of MO, he's actually very similar to Adam. That's why they're so close. Because with Adam, you want to be vigilant about your team, to know when to use your chain heals and your soul bond, and spend the rest of your time shooting dudes. Ultron, you got to be vigilant every now and again, but you're shooting dudes. That's like mostly what you do. And in a similar vein to Iron Man right here, there are some teams that just can't handle you, just like the pick. And honestly, he's really good against Spider-Man now. There was a time where Spider-Man tore him up, but I feel like I see Ultron players just killing Spider-Man nowadays, so who knows. Venom, I'm going to put Venom. How hard do I think Venom is? I'm gonna put, no, not C tier, not C tier. Is he harder than Thor? No. Is he harder than Magneto? No. Should we put him here? I'm not sure. The thing about Venom, you are a big dude who is highly mobile, has AoE abilities, like your left trigger, your tentacle attach move has AoE effects, your ult has AoE effect moves, your dive has AoE effect, blah, blah, blah. His primary fire is a nightmare to hit. If a Venom player pulls up on you and just kills you in a few seconds, he probably deserved it because he probably hit 18 pinpoint shots in a row on you. Half of them were headshots and you're dead. Venom has a kind of simple kit, just a little bit. I mean, he has some difficult stuff, right? Like kind of having to be airborne to use one of his abilities, I think is a little bit complicated of an idea. And really wanting to time your shield for when you have low health is also, that's kind of scary. Awareness of stuns is something that's going to be difficult for new players to grasp. Because of all of this, Venom, his mechanical skill floor is just astronomical. Hitting those shots on Venom is a nightmare. And that's kind of the bulk of the character, because the rest of his character makes him really quite difficult to deal with. He's mobile and he's tanky. So I don't put him super low. But if you want to play Venom, spend 5 hours in aim labs and then play Venom, and you'll be good. You got it. Bucky. This might be a... he's... Okay, the dude's not hard to play. Is he? Yes. I'll put him right here. Thing about Bucky is that he has like all the tools you need to carry your game, and there's the Bucky players upstairs, and he gets himself sustained through doing it. He has a forgiving primary fire. He has high damage. His abilities can be spammed easily. He's good for beginners. Pick him up. Feel free. But he's not as good as Scarlet Witch or Namor, because as you start playing against more and more experienced players, you're going to have to do more and more to get your ult to operate effectively, and the ult's a big part of the character. Shots aren't hard to hit, not hard to contribute damage, and you're going to win the majority of like skirmishes that you take on Bucky, because he has all the tools to do so, and they're pretty easy. But he becomes harder and harder to play as you start playing against better and better enemies. Wolverine. Where do I set Wolverine? I think Wolverine's B tier. I'm going to be so for real. We'll put him up by Cap. Is he harder than Elsa? He's easier than Elsa. Thing about Wolverine is there's kind of two sides of new players picking Wolverine. Yes, Wolverine has specific target priority. The hitbox for his tackle is really hard. His ult's a little bit janky. You need to time your war properly. Yes, you can micromanage Wolverine to a certain degree. You need to do that. But at the same time, if a Wolverine just pulls up on you and starts face rolling his abilities and just doing everything to you, and they're not that hard to hit except for the tackle because he's a melee character, he's probably gonna kill you, right? I mean, I feel like to really find great success with Wolverine, you don't need to know everything about the character. Did I say that backwards? If you want to find a lot of success in Wolverine, you need to know the character. But if you don't know a whole lot about Wolverine and you're not playing against characters if you're not playing against players who are extremely vigilant about you, you can find success with baseline knowledge of Wolverine. At the end of the day, you click on the dude, or like half of your abilities are damaging, do them. You have a second health bar, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's a little bit forgiving. White Fox. I'm going to put her right here. And we'll put Black Cat in D because she's not out yet. The thing about White Fox, she's meant to be a utility support, right? She kind of reminds me, she reminds everybody of Kiriko, right? Like, obviously. She has like this weird cleanse ability. She has brief invulnerability. She has like form changes that require you to manage health bars, right? Like your health is not the same as your fox's health, and what your fox can do with that health bar is not just shooting, right? Health is a resource. When you're in that fox, she has the tails mechanic, so very similar to Gambit. You need to, heads up, right? You need to be focusing on proper ability usage. But she has a Moon Knight bouncing on her primary fire. The way that she handles flankers is a melee character, right? So similar to me, kind of putting Wolverine a little bit higher up. Executing what she does successfully is not all that difficult. Her hitboxes are big. But what you need to execute, and even more specifically when you need to execute it, is hard on White Fox. That invulnerability window for your abilities is small. The charm window is small. That fox does not have as much health as you want it to, and ultimately her healing requires pretty good accuracy to get the most benefit out of it. You want to direct hit a teammate so that you can heal another teammate for optimal healing. You can pick her up. You can start playing her. She's not D tier. You're not going to inch your ass off like on Rogue or on Angela, but don't expect to find a lot of success on the character immediately, similar to Storm. That's all. My camera's about to die. I probably have a matter of seconds to talk to you guys. Thank you for taking this time to check out this tier list. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you wildly and passionately disagree with me and think I am a fuckface idiot. But all of that said, enjoy your Saturday. Have fun. Pleasure chatting with you. And I hope to see you next weekend. Peace. See you then.